Hello, dear students. After your vacations, it's time to start the new academic session for the year 2021-22. You guys have reached standard 7th now and will be studying English. I'm Miss Tanvi and since 3 years I've been taking your English class. So let's start with it. Now, you guys do not have your textbooks with you, but I have shared the PDF file. You can go through each of them just for reference. Otherwise, even without your textbook, pay attention to my voice. You will be able to understand the concept. And the live classes are always there. Even I know when you guys had textbooks, you guys were not reading them. So, what's the use? But still, you'll get them on time and we'll start going through the activities which are given in textbooks. But before that, let's start the chapter where you have to understand the things. First unit is exploring symbols. Exploring symbols. Now, you guys have studied symbols in geography, in history, in science. So, will we be studying symbols like who created this symbol, what is it used for, or you guys know all that. You have been using your smartphones recently a lot and it is full of symbols. But we won't be studying the things about symbols. We'll be studying symbols, how they are used in English. Now, not only in English, in all the languages, certain words are used as symbols. They symbolize something, they mean something. Like when we call someone honey, it does not mean that they are actually honey, they are made by bees, or but it means somebody who is as sweet as honey for them. Or even in Hindi, let's say, when we call someone like Sheraya, or he is not actually a form of lion, but somebody who is as brave as lion. So these are the kinds of symbols which are used in the languages. So we'll be studying about symbols in that way. Like how the symbols are used in poems, how they are used in sentences, how symbols are used as name. Activity 1. Rabindranath Tagore was born in Calcutta in 1861. He is the poet who wrote India's national anthem and he won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. Tagore started to write poetry when he was only 8 years old and he published his first poem when he was only 16. For this, Tagore did not use his real name. He used a pen name. Bhanu Simha meant sun lion. So, here we'll be studying about Rabindranath Tagore. We know him that he wrote the national anthem, the Jana Gana Mana, which we which we recite daily in school. It was written by Rabindranath Tagore and he also won Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. He has created various great works and here there is a description about him. Like when he started writing poetry, which is at the young age of 8 years. I can say for you guys had started writing poetry last year. But he started doing that when he was just 8 years old and he also published his first poem when he was 16. And the name, he used a pen name for that. Pen name means it is a name which is the writers create for themselves. Instead of giving their real name, they use a pen name, and the pen name was Bhanu Simha, which means sun lion. If you publish a story or poem, what pen name will you choose? You can make your name as silly or as serious as you wish. Now, pen name is a name used by a writer instead of the writer's real name. Now, students, I know in the era of creating your IDs, which you use for playing games, instead of your real name, you guys use some funky names when you are entering as a gamer. But you have to think of a name, a pen name. It's like an opportunity to give yourself a name. Your names have been given by your parents, but the pen name you can choose for yourself. So you have to think of a pen name for yourself and write it in your textbook. We'll be doing this. I'll be asking you your names during the live class. So you have to think of a pen name and you can make it as silly or as serious as you wish. Now, let me tell you, why do the writers think of a pen name? Why do they need to change their names? Sometimes it's to hide their real profession, or so that the people who know them cannot judge them. Earlier, the thing was like female writers were not that famous, so they chose names of male. The name was given like that. Or now let's think of it like there is a doctor who is really good writer. Now that doctor is doing his task really well, but think of it like he is good at writing thriller novels or a murder series. Do you think what kind of will he get more patients as a doctor then? So there can be various other reasons for writing pen names, but this is a task. This is a task for you to make one for yourself. Share your pen name with your classmates. Fill in the chart with your interesting pen names you hear in your class. This will be really a fun activity during class because the name you choose for yourself tells a lot about you. Or, we can judge, we can get some idea about what a person thinks from their pen name. So, we'll be sharing this in the class during your live classes. Of all the new pen names you heard in your classroom, which pen name did you think was most interesting? That you'll be writing during your live class. Activity 2. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. The poem, before explaining you the poem, I would like to tell something about the poem. This poem was included in the volume called Naivedya. It was a collection of the poems by Rabindranath Tagore. The poem is a prayer to God to protect the nation from evil effects. The poem was written by Tagore during the time when India was under the British rule and people were eagerly waiting to get their freedom. It is a prayer to the Almighty for a nation free from any kind of manipulative or corrupt powers. This poem is a reflection of the poet's good and ideal nature. He has utmost faith in God. He prays to God with all his heart that he should guide the countrymen to work hard, speak the truth, be forward and logical in approach. Rabindranath Tagore aspires to see his country and people in peace and prosper. He loves his country a lot and wishes for its welfare. Now, first, I'll read the poem, and after that, we'll be studying the line by line explanation. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. In this poem, the poet is praying to God to grant his country such freedom of thoughts and expressions, freedom from the shackles of superstitions and bondage of social evils, which leads towards perfection. The poet prays to God, saying that his country should be free from the fear of oppression and each person should be able to hold his head high. There shall be an atmosphere of fearlessness. The country should be a place where knowledge is available to everyone equally and free of cost, without any discrimination on the basis of caste, gender, or religion. He wishes for a country which is not broken up into fragments by prejudices and superstitions and where people stand united. He wants a nation where people are truthful and words come out from the depth of their hearts. He wishes for a nation where everyone is free to work hard for anything they desire for their own or for the good of the nation. Everyone is encouraged to strive tirelessly, to work hard till they attain full satisfaction in reaching their goals and perfection. Now, why do we have this poem in exploring symbols? Because here it is full of symbology. Like when we say that people are able to hold their head high, that is that they can walk with pride. They are not like having any trouble or burden, or they are not considered lower than anybody else. They all are equal and they all are proud. Where knowledge is free, that means it is given to everyone. Everybody has the right to learn. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Here we do not mean that everybody has created walls, but the walls here represent the discrimination, the caste, the all that social classes and all. That this way the world is not divided. Everybody is united. Where words come out from the depth of the truth. It means that everybody is speaking the complete truth. And where people can work tirelessly. They can, without getting tired, they can work, stretch its arm. Like people can work hard and try to achieve perfection. The poet prays to God that Indians should be logical and progressive in thoughts and actions. He wants the power of reason to dominate the minds of his countrymen. He does not want the stream of reason to be lost among outdated customs and traditions. It shall be a nation where blind superstitious habits of thought and action have not put out the light of reason, where people's mind should not dwell in the mistakes of the past, nor be possessed by it. On the other hand, they should be led by the power of reasoning to be focused on the future by applying logical thought and action. He wants the country to be led forward by God into the freedom of broadened attitude and mindset. He requests the Father to awaken his country into such a heaven of freedom. It is only by the universality of outlook and an abiding passion for the realization of great human ideals that India will achieve her true freedom. This way alone will she realize her destiny. Like this is the prayer to the God, like how he wants his country to be. The first line is where the clear stream of reason, that is the ability to reason, the ability to question, the ability to use our minds to analyze things, has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Now dead habit, something that is old, uh, the old customs or the old traditions, we are not just blindly following them. It means that our mind is not just lost its way. It can still use its way and get the clear thing. Like the power of reasoning can be used for logical thought and action, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. Where the mind is led forward by thee. Thee here means by you, by God. Where the mind is led forward by God and uh, people are working for the future into that heaven of freedom. Freedom from all these things, not only from the Britishers, but even from all such outdated customs and traditions. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, my Father here means the Almighty God, let my country awake. This is his prayer for his country to the God. Now, if you were thinking while explaining the poem, why didn't I explain you the meanings of the words? Well, that's because it's an activity for you. You have to match the words in column A with the meanings given in column B. Column A. Words are fragments, striving, dreary, domestic, tireless, desert. Some of these words will be having their exact meanings and some will be like related to it. Which are the meanings given in column B? To labor hard, cheerless, pieces broken off or detached from a complete portion, without rest or sleep, a waterless or isolated area or land, related to family affairs. So I'm giving you time to think about it, and you know, it's easy to match when the options are already given. Otherwise, if I directly ask you what is the meaning of dreary, you may find it difficult. But from the given options, you will find it easy to get the exact meaning. So there is time for you, and after that, on the next slide, you can see the answers. So from the given options only, or from the given words only, if you had any new words, you can write that in the box given in your textbook and you can match accordingly. Fragments. It means pieces broken off or detached from a complete portion. Striving means to labor hard. Dreary means cheerless. Domestic means related to family affairs. Tireless means without rest or sleep. And desert means a waterless or isolated area or land. Activity 3. Look carefully at where the mind is without fear. The poet is talking to someone. What words help you to understand whom the poet is talking to? Now, students, in the answer, you will not directly be mentioning like this word means this, but we will be also explaining what the poet meant. So, the words, into that heaven of freedom, my father, the words my father help us understand that the poet is talking to the Father, our Creator, the God, and he is praying for his country to have all the qualities mentioned, all the lines which were explained, all the lines given before this line. He wants the country to have all this, so he is praying to the God. The subjects of the first three lines of the poem are underlined below. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken. What's the subject of the fourth line? Here, subject means the idea or the main thing what the poet is telling about. So, the subject of the fourth line is where words come out from the depth of the truth. That is, the people always speak the complete truth and never lie. The poem says, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. What is lost in this line of the poem? Here, the word lost means faded or has died. So, the poet is talking about clear stream of reason, that is, the ability to think clearly, to reason, to question and analyze, the ability to use our brains, to use our mind and not just follow the outdated customs or the old rituals. So that's it with activity 1, 2 and 3. Students, I want you to go through the video once again and even read the poem from your textbook. You have to write the activities in your textbook which we will discuss during our live classes. And this year we'll be checking your notebooks as well. So make sure that the homework which I give, you will be writing that in your notebook regularly. So with this, I end my today's video. Go through it and stay home. I mean, the lockdown has been removed, but still be safe. Bye.